Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. I am excited to be able to spend a little time today talking about the 90-day gestation period of this business. You all know probably that gestation is a necessary part of creation, and you never are going to be able to break that law. It's a law of the universe, and you have to give things time to be able to evolve and to develop. If you think about a child, people want that child oftentimes long before it's ever conceived, and then there's still a 9-month gap before they'll ever hold that child. But they know from the beginning that they're going to have that child, and that child's going to be in their arms. The belief is there, the knowledge is there. They don't question it any more than a farmer who plants his field plants extra seeds in every hole, more than what he needs. If he knew that it was going to be 100% growth, he would plant one seed per every hole, and he would be able to mathematically figure out what his field would look like. But he knows that that is not possible, and he knows that there's a gestation period before he'll ever see those plants come up to know which ones are going to grow. So he doubles or triples his odds, puts 2 or 3 seeds in every hole, hoping that one of them will grow. And if more than one grows, sometimes they have to go through and thin, but they are knowing that there's going to be a period of time. When they get done planting that field, it still looks like dirt. It's still dark and flat and doesn't look like they've done anything, but he knows that the seeds are in the ground, and he knows that if he takes care of them, they will yield a crop. The same thing goes in network marketing. There is a lag time or a gestation period, if you want to look at it that same way, between action and seeing the big results. Now, Actives fortunately gives fast start bonuses weekly. So if you do the work this week, it's going to pay the following Friday. So if you sign someone up today on a Saturday, it's actually one of the better times to sign up because you don't have to wait as long to get your return. You're going to get your fast start the next Friday. But if you signed somebody up last Monday, you would also get the same day payout of next Friday. So they pay out weekly. So if you're doing action every week, pretty soon you're going to be getting a check every single week. Friday, 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 and boom, the 15th is going to come along eventually, and you're going to get another check. But what we've noticed is that a lot of people don't understand that it's not instant gratification. It's the law of the harvest, or you need that gestation period to be able to see the bigger results. And so they get frustrated. Too many people come into this industry and they're used to trading hours for dollars. I work this amount, I'm going to get paid this amount on this day. And it's very finite, it's very defined, and that's what they're mentally aware of and used to. In this kind of an industry, you are planting for your harvest. You are laying out the foundation for creation, and it's a different concept. But too many people do a little bit, don't see enough results, and then give up before they even plant enough to have a harvest, or they don't water it long enough, or they don't care for it long enough. Obviously, in this industry, those are analogies. We don't want to be watering our people. But they aren't doing the things that are necessary to keep their people engaged. And we find that things work in about a 90-day lag. Excuse me one moment. She's asleep. Can you come here, please? One of the fun things about working from home is you get to have children and puppies. Excuse me. This one has decided she wants some attention, and I'm not giving it to her. All right, back to where we were at. There's a 90-day gestation period here. And we found early on that a lot of people can run hard for 90 days. The leaders are the ones that stick it out and will run even longer than that turn into professionals. So some people won't ever run. Some people can only run for 90 days and then they give out. And some people will do that planting over and over and over and do that 90-day cycle and do another 90-day cycle and another 90-day cycle, and they will turn into professionals and they will create the large incomes. It's not difficult to get to the top of a company. It does take a lot of steps, and if you leave any of them out, then you're going to get different results. No different than if you choose to plant your field and not ever water it, or choose to plant your field and never give it any sunlight because you put a big tarp over it, or never give it any oxygen because you're putting too much something over the top, a fertilizer or a tarp or a shade cover or something that, is stifling it. Maybe you're trying to keep the weeds out, and in the process you stifle those seeds. In this case, we need to be doing the proper behaviors to support our people during that 90-day period so that it will then turn into growth. So that's kind of the foundation for what I wanted to talk about today. Doing 90-day pushes can literally change your life and the lives of the people that you're talking to if we do the 90-day push correctly. So when you sign somebody up, the clock starts ticking when their application goes in. They start a 90-day run. It has nothing to do with the calendar, has nothing to do what day of the week it is, has everything to do with the fact that you just put that little seed of hope in that person into the ground, and we have 90 days to cultivate it. So helping that person becomes priority one. So they have 90 days to get launched and get people in. The people that have been successful, not exclusively, there's always exceptions to every rule, but across the board, the majority of the people that are growing in this company are people that are members of the 500 Club. And I love that the company has a bonus around this because it's such a proper behavior that really is a determining factor on whether people make it or not. And we've used that concept for years of sign up 10 to identify 3 or 4 who will run. Well, the company actually will incentivize you to help your people go get 10 business partners in the first 90 days. It's called the 500 Club. And if you haven't done it in the right window or you're past your 90 days, it's still a concept that has to be done. So do it without the money. Just go get your 10 people. There's something about getting 10 in a short enough period of time that it creates that momentum and allows you to identify a few people who will be runners. So the first step is find 10. Well, actually, we're going to back it up again because the step before that, in order to find 10, you have to have a list of 100 to 200 people. And I know for some people that sounds daunting, but there is no shortcut around that. If you can't make a list that long, then get out every single day and make 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 contacts every single day and be adding to that list, because it's a critical part of building your business. If the farmer has no seed, he can't plant his field. And if he can't plant his field, there is no harvest. Same thing here. If we don't have a list, we can't contact people. If we can't contact people, we can't enroll people. And if we don't enroll people, we don't find the leaders that we're going to run with to then enroll the next batch. So it's a critical part. So when you're making your list, please don't prejudge. We're going to go off on a little tangent here for just a second. This list should be everybody that you can think of, because they may not be the right person, or they might be, and you just don't know. Oftentimes the biggest leaders come out of people that surprise us. But we talk to everybody that comes to our mind because you don't know, number one, what's going on behind their closed doors, and you don't know who they know. So every person that says a hard, definitive no, it really is just not now, because everybody wants health and everybody wants wealth and everybody wants their time back. But if they're not seeing it right now, that's okay. But get at least 2 referrals from them before you close the conversation. That way, that one person has still yielded you a small result, a small growth. If you were to plant that leader and help them grow, you might yield thousands of people. Or in the corn's application, you put a little kernel of corn in the ground, it might yield a stalk that grows thousands of kernels. But if you can't plant that person, if you can't get that person to engage and they really don't want to do it right now, we're not going to try and twist their arm. We're not going to try and convince them. We simply ask, who do you know that is ready right now to make some extra money? Who do you know right now that is ready to take control of their health? That's going to yield you a customer. But we're looking for those people that are ready to make some extra income, that want a way to be able to earn back their time, or are sick and tired of where they're at, or they're losing where they're at, or they need some extra because of inflation, or they need to be able to fix their retirement that got messed up over the last couple of years. Any number of reasons will open people up to an opportunity, but you're looking for people that are ready right now. And in order to find 10, you're probably going to have to talk to 100. You might have to talk to 200. It just depends on what your skill sets are and what you've practiced in your life and where you're at. It doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. This kind of a business levels the playing field if you're willing to do the work. What you lack in skill, you can make up for in hard work. So if you don't have the skill set to close 1 in 3 people that you talk to, and it takes you 1 in 20, then talk to 20 or talk to 80 and find 4, or talk to, hundreds and find enough to identify 1 in each leg. What's going to happen with that is along the way, you're going to hit a 3 or maybe even a 4. The brand new person is going to hit a 3 or a 4. That's the foundational rank of the company. And then the next step is simply to find 1 in each leg. We have 4 leg requirement here at Actives, 1 in each of those organizations to help do the same thing. And you're going to help them go get at least enough to find 1 in each leg, but ideally 10 so that they're part of the 500 club. And if you find 10, and maybe you find 4 or 5 runners, but they're only turning up in 3 legs because you have a leader backed by a leader, you have 2 people that are running that want to go get their 10 in a leg, and you have another leg that just has people that turn into customers. They just want to use the product and they're not excited about building the business. Well, it's easier to go find someone to put in that leg, to inspire that leg. And it might inspire them or they might not be inspired. Either way, you've now got somebody to work with in that leg. It's easier to find a new recruit sometimes than to try and bring people around if they just are not engaging and they're just not of the right mindset. So a couple different options. You can inspire them and get them going, bring them out of incubation and into action, or you can just sign up somebody new, put them at the bottom, and one of 2 things will happen. Either it'll inspire the people above, or it won't, and it'll just compress and you'll get paid on the person that you're helping build anyway. So that's kind of a deeper conversation for another day. The master plan though is you get your 10 and go a 3. Out of that, you want 1 in each leg that goes, starts building and getting their 10. That's going to put them to a3 or a4 even. A3, you only need 5 people at a $500 pack. So if they're doing the 250, you're still going to get there with 10, but you might hit a4 if they're all doing the 500 pack. Okay, also understand that when you start a massive plan of action, when you say, okay, I'm going to commit and I'm going to build this every single day for the next 90 days, and I'm going to test this. I'm going to see if the law of harvest will work for me. Well, I promise you, if you do the right behaviors, it will. If you're not getting the right results, please check with your upline and tweak it just a little bit. Fine tuning is part of this business as we're learning. But the 90-day lag is a real thing. Let's talk about a real life application. If you signed up John on Monday, so Monday is May 2nd. If you're seeing this live today, Monday is May 2nd. That means that you're going to get paid fast start money on John's enrollment on the 13th, which is the following Friday. So you finish out that week of Monday and then go to the next week, and it's the Friday, which is the 13th. And then John's going to run an auto ship in June, probably around the 15th. It usually falls automatically somewhere about a month from when they signed up. So if he signs up on the 13th, his auto ship will probably run on the 15th. And then the first time you're going to see residual pay on John is in July. See that gestation? See that delay, that growth period? They're going to give you fast start to say, good job, way to go. Good job signing John up. But that residual that we work so hard for doesn't kick in for a period of time. It's not quite 90 days. It's more like 60. But there's that period of time where you're not going to see the results. So sometimes we'll talk to people and they've been working really hard for 5 weeks. And 5 weeks when you haven't been doing something before can feel like you're in the grind. Okay, so the main thing is setting that goal of running for 90 days and don't quit. Don't let up. Don't slow down. Don't look around. Don't look for the results. The farmer doesn't go out and dig up his field to see if they're starting to sprout roots. He just patiently waits, knowing the process will work. He knows that if he does it right, treats it right, takes care of the soil, that the plants will grow. The same thing will happen here. If you're doing the right behaviors and you're constantly showing the presentation and you're putting people in front of the information, every day you're talking to new people, every day you're adding to your list, every day you're following up with the people that you're talking to, every day you're using people in your upline for three-way calls and presentations, and you're putting people in front of the information. Every day you're learning to show the information better so that you can show it yourself, because as that happens, you're going to get faster results. The second that you take ownership of your business and you put it into your hands, that this is your life, your future, and you're not missing it, then you can start to see the really big results. It's a natural process that has to happen. So give it 90 days. Don't look around for the results. Just do the actions day after day after day after day. Now, set your boundaries and set your parameters before you start. We take Sundays off. We take that day for the Lord and for our families. That was a decision we made early on. You might have to set your parameters different. You might be working a full-time job and say, I can only work between 7 and 9, but I'm going to do it every day. Or I'm going to do it 5 days a week, or I'm going to do it 6 days a week. Whatever it is, be consistent and then give 110% during that time so that you are efficient. That doesn't mean that you're running around straightening your office. It doesn't mean that you're on 6 Zooms. The Zooms are for your benefit, but they do not count as move the needle time unless you have a guest on with you. So don't confuse action with things that are actually going to help you be growing, because just being on a Zoom does not move the needle on your business unless you have guests. Okay. So just to kind of give you an idea, if in the first 90 days you were brand new and you went A3 because you got 10 people at a 240 pack and a few customers, or you went A3 because you got 5 people in at a $500 pack, or you went A4 because you got 10 people in at a $500 pack, you're off and running. Whatever it looks like. It's not a perfect world. We know there's going to be variation, but take your first 90 days in the business, run hard. The second 90 days, we're going to help 4 people, 1 in each of those 4 legs. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the person at the top. Like I said, if somebody in that leg or a couple people in that leg just aren't engaging and you put somebody else in and they're ready to go, you help that person get 4 or get 10 and help them get going. And if the people in between don't want to go, that's okay. It's going to motivate them or it'll compress. But we're helping 1 in each leg go A3. Now you're in A6. And we've seen this happen over and over. We've seen people compress it where they do their A3 in their first week. And then they do A6 by the end of the first month. And they're A8 within the first 90 days. We've seen that happen a number of times. But if you need to do it a little bit slower, you can't do it much slower, because if you change these dynamics very much, you get broken seeds. You get a baby that doesn't ever form right. You get odd results. So I would love to tell you that there's another way, but doing it in short bursts of momentum with proper behaviors and doing it consistently enough that you get that person to grow is really the only way. We don't know any shortcuts around that. Now, if you're using other tools, or you're using social media, or you're using Zooms, or whatever you're using to present your information is just simply the tool that you're using. I'm talking about the speed of exposure. However you're choosing to expose is up to you, but doing it consistently for 90 days and then helping your people the next 90 days to do the same thing, and then finding somebody down in that organization to then help 1 in each leg the next time, go do it again. And if you're helping your 4 to then identify somebody in their legs to go do that with, now you're doing 1 in each leg and they're each doing 1 in each leg. Now you've got 8 people that are going A3, and now your rank is growing. You should be ranking up every 90 days. Ideally, we want to get to the point where you're ranking up for a little while every month. But at the very minimum, you should be rank advancing every 90 days. And if you're not, it just means we need to go back to the basics. And if your results today are not what you would like them to be, the momentum is not where you'd like it to be, maybe your rank isn't where you'd like it to be, Look at the last 90 days. I'd love to say there's a softer way to say that, but there really isn't. If you look at the last 90 days and you haven't been doing the right behaviors, then you've got the results that are due. If you want different results, we have to do different behaviors. So start today. We're coming into a new month. It's a perfect time to start a 90-day run. May, June, July puts us just in time for a big rank come the event in July in Salt Lake City. So there's never been a better time to start than today. That's always the case. You can't change anything in the past, but you can change everything about the future based on your efforts starting today moving forward. If you're doing what you think are the right behaviors and you're not seeing the results that you think you should, check with your upline, because number one, it might be that you're checking the soil too soon. You're trying to see those plants before it's time for them to pop up, and you're trying to see the results before you're due with your people, or you're not actually doing the behaviors properly, or you're not doing enough of the right things. So if you really truly want to see the results and you're a little bit concerned about it and you don't mind talking with someone, they're not going to jump on you. Our job, and remember that if you're the leader that's being asked, our job is never to be the boss. We do want to just help them fine tune, maybe see where they can make it stronger, maybe make it better and yield better results. So that's it for today. Have a rest of a wonderful Saturday. And if you're ready to start a 90-day run, doesn't matter if you're brand new or not, same behaviors apply. If you have enough people that you can find one in each leg and you can jump to that step because you've been in for a little while, then jump to that step and help one in each leg in May to go A3. If you don't have enough people that are ready to go, you might have to go back and do some of step one, which is enrolling, and put somebody in one or two of your legs, or maybe even three of your legs, to give you somebody to work with in those legs. If you need any help, reach out, reach up. If you need to reach out to us, you know how to reach us. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.